See these bad boys right here? Adderall. Prescription filled to the brim. If you're thinking about using or taking Adderall, or you're currently using Adderall, let me tell you something from somebody who was literally fed stimulants since I was 14 years old. First, let's get this out of the way. Yes, if you've watched Limitless and you think it's that, quote unquote, magical pill that can go ahead and allow you to basically keep on going and be as smart as possible and just constantly be focused and locked in. Yes, that's exactly what it does. It's a stimulant. But just like any stimulant, let me go ahead and be the first to tell you that right there, Adderall alone, I wish I never touched it. Why? Because over the years, I needed more and more and more. And here's the thing, I attributed it to success, right? Because how do you compete with somebody who's constantly locked in and can just pop a magical little pill, stay up for hours on end and keep going? Again, maybe a 3-hour sleep, terrible sleep. You're putting your body through absolute hell, but you keep going day after day, month after month, year after year. And then you notice that, oh my goodness, 15 milligrams doesn't work. Let's go to 30. 30 doesn't work. Let's go to 45. 45 doesn't work. Your doctor's not prescribing you an obscene amount. You gotta calm down. What do you do next? And this is the danger of Adderall, and I can absolutely be the one to speak on this. Once it goes ahead and stops working, which again, it doesn't necessarily stop working, but the effects wear off a hell of a lot faster. Meaning the euphoria you get because of the amphetamine aspect, that's the addictive part, it wears off a lot faster. Your focus also wears off a lot faster. And not only that, and one of the biggest things with prolonged use, before I get to the really, really detrimental part, is that whenever I take Adderall, at the end of the day, not only am I drained, my dopamine is drained, and I'm just like upset and whatnot, it actually changes your mood completely. I become a ferocious monster. Don't touch me, don't talk to me, nothing. And it doesn't help that I'm manic bipolar. So at the end of the day, so once the Adderall starts wearing off, Lord have mercy. And there's a reason why these are filled to the brim here. And I'm gonna explain to you why, because over the past years, I've been a collector. Why? Because I am not necessarily stupid. Well, wasn't stupid. And I knew not to mix one stimulant, Adderall, with another stimulant, which again is a white powder, which I won't say just because I don't know if this will hurt the reach of the video. And the white powder, the Colombian booger sugar, that went ahead and kind of superseded, and that was a whole new level of stimulant. Not only was that the dopamine, but it didn't come with the focus aspect that Adderall did. But what it did come with was the energy and the dopamine. Because here's the thing, if you're somebody who has a ton of drive, like you wake up in the morning, even if you don't take Adderall, you don't take any stimulant, and you just keep going and going and going, right? You're just excited to work. Think about that times 10, but you never sleep for days on end. I haven't talked about this just yet, but way back when in 2019, Shop DFY, the done-for-you Shopify program that I built, it worked. And we pumped millions of dollars through it. This is during the fake flu season, right? That time period. I ran YouTube ads, spent like 800K, made a few million. Here's the thing. I was going ahead, and this is when I was introduced to the Colombian booger sugar, right? And so this is peak where we made millions, but I was only focusing on selling. And I was up for days. How do you compete with somebody who doesn't sleep, constantly energetic, and just locked in, but way stronger than something like Adderall? Now you're like, well, how the hell did we get onto this topic if we were talking about Adderall? Because the reason why I got here was because of Adderall. It was because I needed something stronger. Anybody who goes ahead and uses these type of stimulants, you're going to go ahead and eventually hit a plateau where even your doctor, you can't take 120 milligrams of Adderall without your heart exploding. So again, there's gonna come a time where you're like, oh my goodness, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep taking more and more and more, which again, just becomes unhealthy. So you trade one vice for another. And my biggest cautionary tale is if you're gonna take it, you're gonna take it. Does it work? Hell yeah. Am I an advocate for it? No, because I'm the product of losing everything. So again, to tie in this story, I was selling. I put some kid in there that I met a few months prior as the project manager handling these clients that paid 25, 50K, etc. And then I just crashed. Pretty much just disappeared because I would go on these benders and all I would do is focus on selling. No operations, none of that. And so during this process, I went to rehab. I gave my dad power of attorney for my company and all that. I refunded everybody, or again, contractually gave refunds. And for the record, I was so locked in, I didn't buy anything, go anywhere, nothing. Like I didn't buy anything fancy. I already had my Lambo then, I already had my RM then. I didn't want anything else. I just want to keep making more and more and more and more. The biggest expense was Upwork, where I was paying like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a week. This was being managed by somebody who, quite frankly, was not qualified, and I met a few months back, and that was my fault. And I wasn't about to sit there, all that money I had in my account. You remember when I said in a previous video, I came out of rehab and there was literally negative money? It's because when I was in rehab, I gave my dad power of attorney, and he went and contacted everybody, all the clients, and said, hey, listen, I know you paid $15K, we're trying to make right here. Will you accept 10, right? To make even. Again, like I said, I never spent that money on anything, nothing, because I was too locked in. That's all I cared about. Was making sales. I was so focused on that, and it got out of hand. So my cautionary tale here isn't to not do it. Again, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. I'm not your dad, I'm not your parents, but what I will tell you is that there are consequences. And by the time you realize, oh dang, I'm a little too deep right now, it's gonna be a little too late. Because now, if you stop, what's gonna happen? I'll tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna lay in bed all day, every day, depressed as sin, not wanting to do anything. You're gonna go ahead and avoid all types of responsibilities. What you were building when you were taking this stuff is going to crumble, or at least start to crumble if you don't pick it up. That has been my problem, is that my body has gotten used to it. Even till this day, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. And again, one of the things every day I pray for is just that little nudge, that little help. Just asking God, like, hey man, I just can you please just, I know it was really bad before and I've tapered down a lot. And so I do pray every day. I'm not here to tell you that I'm perfect. And I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to start this channel and give feedback, and I didn't want to come back to YouTube for so many years, because I didn't feel as if who I was and what I wanted to put out there, I don't feel as if anybody should listen to me because of the fact that I'm not somebody. Yes, I can build stuff, yet businesses. Yes, I'm successful. Yes, this morning I woke up to a class action lawsuit. Yes, this morning WAP told me that I can't process, they don't want me processing on WAP anymore, and basically told me to piss off, even though I'm the one who brokered the deal with them and Iman, and that's a whole different story, which again, I'm not gonna go into, but I'll let bygones be bygones. I don't want you to fall into the same bad pattern, the same habit. And so I realized that even though I'm still coming out of this rut, rebuilding, and I've also noticed that the businesses that I built during this time period were all quick hit dopamine businesses. And if you follow, I'm really big into affiliate marketing, okay? Again, we could throw around terms like super affiliate. I've done millions of dollars in the affiliate realm. That business model is a very hit a campaign, you make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 net in a week. Sometimes you make $100,000, $200K a day revenue with 30% margins for 3 weeks straight. And then it's just dry for a month, right? Until something new comes out. That dopamine hit to find that win is oh, what next? But during those dry spells of, oh my goodness, there's nothing hitting right now, I feel as if I need to do something to go ahead and self-induce to get to a goal. The biggest thing that I can provide to you guys, more than anything, is what I have done wrong from the success that I've garnered. Because I don't know how many of you know what I've even built. A lot of things people don't even know I'm behind. I'm very good at what I do, but Adderall and other stimulants gave me the ability to outwork everybody because, quite frankly, how do you compete with somebody who goes for days on end, who's locked in, who doesn't care about the outside world? I isolated myself from everybody. I would play video games all day long, and it's also how I hide, because that's a whole different world. I don't have any obligations, I don't have anything. But while I'm in that world, I'm still doing what I do in regards to usage, and it's worse, right? At the end of the day, I guess we could chuck this up to your health will deteriorate, not necessarily because of the actual Adderall itself, because of the pill itself, right? But because of what it does mentally to you. And nobody really knows the long-term effects just yet, because let's think about it. What was it, Ritalin back when I was 14, or Focalin? Again, you have to understand, Adderall was never made to go ahead and be used to prescribe for ADHD and focus. It was actually it was a diuretic. It was used as a weight loss supplement because it suppresses your appetite. And then they realized there's a huge market for ADD and ADHD. That's the origin of Adderall. It was never meant to be an actual focus-based stimulant. It was always supposed to be a diuretic. I want to end off here. 1 Peter 5:8 says this, very, very important. Be sober-minded, be alert. Your adversary, the devil, is prowling around like a roaring lion, looking for anyone he can devour. I pray that you avoid the path that I walked down and still achieve all that success and more. Love you guys.